everything was supposed to be, storage districts, things like that.
They go all over, just pop up
Yeah.
everything, get in and out quick.
Yeah. Again,
And if you're down employees. there's nothing
yeah, but
to do.
they've caught people doing that. Some people say, oh, I'm just repairing the roof. Next thing you know, they're reframing the entire roof and changing the pitch and putting more water on somebody else's. Just fixing the roof. Third-party garage inspections. There's a $250,000 grant that's secured for the drone and building code software upgrades. So the drone is going to be very important in terms of the vacant buildings. So when we look at the front of the vacant building and we're not inside it, it looks fine. Next thing you know, the roof is in the basement. And you don't know that from the front. You don't know that you can use, Google Earth and all that, but those are outdated images. So you always have to be able to get those eyes on it. And this will allow us as a city to go in and start to do more emergency stabilization, just as we do emergency demolitions. If we can do the emergency stabilization before these buildings get to a point of no return, it will allow us to cut down.
Has that started yet, Chris?
Yeah. Well, the drones haven't, but we have done, Sam's done some of the drone flights with some borrowed drones and the sheriff's department? Water department.
Is that more than one drone?
What's that?
Is that more
Plumbing
than one
space.
drone?
That's third party.
That 250.
How about the plumbing inspections?
Wait. He was answering his
So
question.
the drone, yeah,
Well,
so it is for
he
the
actually
drone
acknowledged
and
me
software.
and waited for me to say something,
So
and then
it's not
someone over there
$250,000.
threw something at
And
me.
the software is not just for, it's not related to the drone.
I guess.
I'm sitting here going,
But that's what that grant's gonna cover.
Sorry. All right, sorry, Kelly.
no, inspections. You got third party electrical inspections. How about?
So I haven't implemented that because there hasn't been our plumbing inspector, if you call today, he's there for 24 hours. So we have an avenue, should we get to a point where, we're not able to do an inspection in a timely fashion, we can use a third party. There's not a third party plumbing inspector, but we can use licensed architects or engineers that can, inspect and sign off on it. But I haven't had the need to open that up to the public at this point.
For the electrical, and on inspections while you're here,
All right.
on the electrical third party, is that the underwriters, or do you have a list of?
So we have a list of 3 qualifying companies that are licensed to do those inspections. So at the time of the application, it's up to the applicant to tell us then, do they want to use our inspector, or do they want to use a third party, because there's an additional cost on them, not to us, but then if they want to use that third party.
But again, you only have one a week, electrical and
Yes, sir,
plumbing.
that's correct.
So if the guy's on vacation, you're in a hurry, then you're forced on it.
Not necessarily. So our building inspectors, although they're not, we work in conjunction. If you go to a municipality, there are no electrical inspectors, plumbing inspectors for the municipality. It's the building inspector, which is where we're headed.
So I noticed that you're saying that there's no additional money for contracted services in our budget. That's because there's a direct payment from the permittee to the inspector, third party? All right. And how much would those inspections run if somebody
It
did?
depends on the size of the job, but it's typically about $125.
All right. Thank you.
Is that you said, or that the?
No, sir, that's the third party
I
system.
think most folks are gonna pay. Are you looking at anything?
He's waiting for the inspector.
Yeah. So then the third-party inspections for the commercial property.
Our fee chart, our fee schedule. There we go.
All right. Next.
So the goals really are continuing to be proactive in creating structures, and that's a huge amount for what we're hearing out there. It's something that being proactive is going to allow us to mitigate some of the issues before they become a hazard, and not just becoming a hazard, but becoming a loss of the building, and losing some of the historic fabric. So there's a lot of reasons to do that. Creating the in-house hearings to help resolve non-compliance rather than having everything court. This will lessen the burden on the court, resolve the matters more quickly, allowing people to get back on track on some of those projects where they may be otherwise held up because of court. So
That
it's
has
just
been,
another
that has
tool.
been a complaint.
What's that?
That has been a complaint. Another time, students go
Sure.
away.
Yeah, so I think this will help.
Oh, so that's a big change to this in-house rooms? Creating in-house?
Who will
rooms?
do those?
Myself and one of my staff, and two of my staff. We'll set it up basically here.
You don't have enough to do, Rick, right?
We're good.
He's been doing this all the time.
I knew that was going to be the answer.
Was this because of, you felt like certain things could be resolved without going to court?
Yeah,
And
so
the
I'm trying
cost?
not to bog down the court system. We have so many cases, so many
Is
cases.
this like mediation and you just?
Yeah, it's basically mediation, correct. It's a lot like if you want to dispute, VGS bill, and they have their hearings monthly. That's where I kind of still working with that.
So is
If
this
they like
the
the
type,
answer, they could always go to court.
is this the type of thing where you're able to institute fines as well?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. So we're looking at it, but at the same time, court counsel is now, with the knowledge that Rob has from coming from our department, things run much more smoothly between the two departments and that. So we haven't, I was going to do it this past year, but there wasn't really a need. He's able to, capture every case we have. I think we had like 500 or 600 cases last year. It hasn't overwhelmed him. And he keeps saying, give me more. So this is kind of set up so that we get to a point where we're overloading the court, that we can then do some things in-house. We do it, like it's not set up as a process currently, but we do it constantly anyway. I mean, we go almost on a daily basis when we do, problem solving and, resolution, so.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the engagement? So I guess,
So currently we do a lot of sporadic walkthroughs with different neighborhood groups, SUNY Albany. We work with different organizations and do these very sporadically at their, when they request it. I'm going to be a lot more proactive with it now that I have a full staff and we're dedicated so that we're constantly doing, I have an app in my office, I have the city broken down in quadrants, and I'll be able to say, go to zone 2 today, and, if we can coordinate with the neighborhood, great, but if not, we'll be doing it, proactively anyway, in-house, so that we can actually just, instead of being just totally complaint-driven and responding to things, we'll be out there on a proactive basis.
So the most important thing you just said, if I heard it right, now you are fully staffed. First time along, huh?
First time since I've been there. Yeah. It'll show in here that we have one vacancy, but the guy starts Monday.
Okay.
So the zoning you have, there were inspection zones, maybe inspection zones set, which is kind of how long that.
Correct.
Are those the ones that still in effect, or are they different?
So it would be those zones
So those-
for this proactive purpose only. What I do is, what I found was, we ended up having more problems having people only in a particular zone, because, just internally, no, that's not my zone, it's just nonsense. If it's in the city, it's your zone. So, but between that, and also, I like to mix it up because landlords and tenants were getting really comfortable with a particular inspector, and vice versa. So,
So the zones are good, so you're not assigning an inspector for
that's
that
right.
zone.
So who would actually, just pop up here with the input of the agency, what's that kind of money with that?
Police department. Police department.
Yep.
Does the police officer go with you on that?
So on some of them, yes, some of them is our department, police department, DGS, and then the neighborhood organization representative that is access as well.
And what are you looking for? So this is just looking at the outside of buildings, or you?
Correct. So if I say, go to zone 2 today, that particular inspector or that particular 2 inspectors will literally hit every street, and it'll be all things that you can actually see, and without going on somebody's property illegally and doing that kind of thing. But there's a ton. You can't throw a rock in the city without seeing a violation. So
I
there's
did
plenty
on
of
Quail Street years ago, and you got garbage here, garbage there, and that's a lot for the economy.
And then will there be situations?
That was a long time ago.
I know I have some like elderly. I have some like elderly people, like there's some people that are in difficult situations where, you know, I guess that, like I love it on a whole, but there are certain situations where,
Yeah, people that have, you know, whatever, an issue where they just can't take care of something, we constantly work with people. I can push an inspection out 6 months, I can push it out 12 months. It's really just to make sure that there's a plan, so that things aren't deteriorating to a point that they're out of control and it starts affecting the quality of life of the residents.
But if it's also in an area that ACDA can cover in terms of, one of the neighbors that they can do, we'll be putting on door hangers in terms of some of the programs that are available.
Oh,
So
good.
the parents, they can say, you know, yeah, you got a violation, but you're having some trouble, here's
So-
some resources.
Correct. So we, for example, we did a drone inspection a few weeks back of a particular area. Added that, we have, as we say, we have 2 demolitions that are happening. But we also have been able to send out Sam with information packets and mail letters to each of the other homeowners, so a whole bunch of vacant and abandoned buildings on this particular stretch. So he's been able to, you know, mail these out and hand them out and say, you know, here's some options for you if you, need help with this, or, you know, a lot of people don't even know that a lot of the grants exist.
is it possible, I mean, and I'm not sure how much, maybe this would be like a further institute kind of a longer term thing, but it would be great if we could get some of that information. I mean, I did a tour of some of my abandoned properties like a year ago, and I was actually able to add a few to his list that he didn't know about. And I was even thinking it'd be nice to like just regularly get that, because I can walk around and check them out.
Absolutely.
You know.
And what I'll do also, you know, for all the council members, so I got a couple of months before the newer staff are able to be out doing that, because they don't have to be certified in order to deal with a lot of the property maintenance stuff. So, as I send them out to these zones, I'll reach out to the appropriate people, just to give you a heads up, they're gonna be out there, if there's a particular area you just look at, and, you know, whatever, definitely keep you updated as it goes.
That question for you.
Yes, sir.
As we are doing more of the, you know, moving this direction of neighborhood and doing inspections on a more frequent basis, and we're going to be employing use of drones to in certain areas. How are we balancing the privacy issue if you're going to be utilizing the drones, looking at rooftops, and because obviously you're probably going to have a standard view of different buildings are.
So I don't have the exact answer as we're sitting here. We're still going through the process of obtaining that before licenses and the training. So I'm assuming, much as the other departments that have the drones have been and are you know, trained, those kinds of things would be, you know, because again, we're not going to be up there looking to see what people are, you know, it's not a big brother thing. It's solely for particular problem properties that we know, you know, are vacant, blighted, and a possible issue, and we don't have the access to.
And again, this, we're not using, we're
Yeah,
not that
that's
information is getting published, it's all, you know, put out on the web or anything like that. This is information that's internal, so we can identify where those issues occur. But it's mainly for looking at those structures, you know, we're now looking to try to get behind some of these houses and find out code violations, we're looking more for the structure. You know, is there a roof that has a hole in the middle, or something that's going to cause that building that's vacant, that we can't get in anyway, or that, you know, may not be safe to go in? Can we get the eyes on it so we can say, you know, if we put a new roof on that building, is that a building that can potentially become a hazard building?
Yeah, I'm just, you know.
They're property specific, so in other words, we're not going up and looking at, you know, from Clinton Avenue to Livingston Avenue, looking at like the bird's eye view. We're literally at a particular building that we have reason to believe something's going on, because we, you know, I mean, clearly we all live in this, so we see it every day. There's evidence on the outside that could be a bigger problem, and that just gives us one more avenue to see, which is the most critical area, is that roof and the condition of it.
Yeah, it's just thought perception. If I come out my house and see somebody with a drone flying,
Absolutely, yeah.
I have reason to see alarms. I don't know, sure, maybe something can possibly be in place where the next few doors can receive a notice that
Oh, yeah.
this building is receiving an inspection.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely putting some information on the city's webpage, let people know that this will be occurring, you know, again, so we try to inform the public as much as we can. the overall department's really done a lot of advances, dealing with a lot of long-standing issues. There, lack of RFPs in the past, high turnover, not being full staff, and really dealing with non-competitive salaries. If you look at mainly the code position, very non-competitive. And a lot of times what you see is the long lead time it takes to train somebody, to get somebody up to speed doing something, and then they can jump to another city and they come up. So we're trying to address that. Again, working with customer service. Part of this is all part of the reorganization that started last year and wasn't fully implemented, but the cost savings are part of that budget. So this is the building and regulatory compliance is about 1.3% of the overall city budget. Sort of the breakdown. So this is kind of the important thing here. So when you think about the overall staff tenure, that gives you a little bit of an indication of where the issues are. And a lot of times you see, so this is the administration, really combined experience or average experience of 11 and a half years. The building inspectors, which are the electrical, plumbing, and overall building inspectors, almost 9 years. Front-end staff, again, these are where the turnover happens, 2.45. And then the code inspectors, the average is about 2.25. That's a pretty good jump from last year, where I think the average is 1.5 years. So again, it takes a long time to think about. By the time you put out your advertisement, by the time you do the interviews, get somebody in there, train them, and then actually get them on the street, how long that gap is. So spending a little bit more money in the salary line in those positions does a lot in terms of savings.
I think we all recognize that.
Yep.
I think we've all said that last year.
Yep.
We said it this year. I'm looking at your clerk 1, and then we look at the budget. The clerk 1's been here 5 years, and they made less than $30,000 this year. I'm surprised we kept the clerk 1 for that. So I think anyone, at least I don't think anyone thinks this department is paying enough for the staff. I'm hoping that when we go into negotiations, you can plans that
if these were all non-union positions, you see it like it's going to be a higher recommendation, so it's a little more tricky because they're
But just to add to that too, as it relates to some of the inspectors, how much they're making, code enforcement, how much they're making. I mean, you just gave a summary of the goals and the success of this department. And I mean, this department is doing phenomenal work for the city of Albany. And to see
Important.
an important one too, particularly for county council members. This is one of the huge topics that we hear: building and code enforcement. Code enforcement is making $36,000. Like, how do you explain that? Like the high turnover. This is a serious concern. And I just hope that we could get an increase. And when you look at other municipalities compared to what Albany code enforcement is getting paid, it is shameful, quite frankly. I mean, that we see, and here it talks about the narrative. I don't know if it's a narrative. Well, these are facts. The turnover exists. The high turnover exists. The low salary exists. And it is ridiculous, to be honest, to see a plumbing inspector, $53,000. I mean, if you're in the private sector, that's probably 4 times what they'll be making. I know you can't run a government as a business, but some of these salaries, it is unconscionable, to be frank.
They haven't been negotiated yet, right? So.
And I just want to stress it that when during negotiation time, we start to bring some of these salaries up. This is a serious and important and vital department within our city. This is a quality of life issue, and I get so many complaints regarding lack of enforcement in certain neighborhoods. And you see, and now it makes sense when you look at an officer being paid, a code enforcement officer, $36,000.
Yeah.
So I'd like to get
No, it's
Rich-
frustrating, Judy.
Right,
I
no,
know it's
I
frustrating.
We
would like to
agree with
give
you.
Mr. LaJoy a little opportunity to respond with regard to his thoughts. I think I've shared the thought that, once they get through their traineeship, hopefully we can bump them up. I'd like to see more steps, I think, so that we can ensure that they're not looking elsewhere? What do we need to have these people be at to make sure that they don't go and there's no
About
press here? So,
About 14% hike is what it would equate to be. So as we go into I mean, that's a realistic number. I think it's definitely attainable as a department that actually, brings in.
it's like, that's like $140,000 a year.
Right, so a couple of the changes I made last year, right, eliminated 2 deputy positions so I could get more boots on the ground. The plan was also to take that chunk of money, and disperse it, right? So first year coming in, there's a lot of things I had to learn as I go. So now we're into the negotiations. I don't know, where they're going to go. I know that the employees themselves know that their biggest supporter is me. That I think that's the number one thing we need to address. We need to bring the wages up, so that they're not leaving, and we're not training them and sending them off to make better money somewhere else.
But they're doing it mostly local?
Yes, sir. They're all so. So you asked how do we retain that clerk, for instance? Because the whole morale of the office, it's a totally different environment than it was even a year and a half ago. So people are hanging on in the hopes, they've seen all the other changes, there's tangible changes. Now they're hoping that next step happens, that we're able to actually now, bring them up to par, whatever that percentage ends up looking like. I don't know how else to answer it. I know that's got to come up. I don't know how the negotiations.
So,
I
Mr.
mean, I just
Wheeler,
wanna
as
add-
long as you're here,
Go
Mr.
ahead.
Wheeler, your thoughts on this?
Yeah,
Because you're involved in the negotiations also, right?
Yeah, we're scheduled to meet with them on October 29th. So, last round of negotiations, they got a higher percentage significantly than any other group and the city did, other than some the CSA supervisors that were moved above what their subordinates are making. We expect that to happen again.
What does that mean?
We'll get a significantly higher percentage there than the others.
And I know 14% may sound like a lot. I mean, when you're doing negotiations, 14% sounds like a lot. But when you're talking about the difference of lifestyle with 36,000 and 42,000, it's significant for someone who lives off a salary of 36,000.
The goal with this group is going to be to get them competitive with
I hope so, because Colony, $66,000. Colony, $66,000. You look at other similar municipalities, Bethlehem, $50,000.
Colony and Bethlehem are not similar at all.
But when you look at the work that they're doing,
Financial
it's-
structure and their means.
but just
So
look
you
at
can't-
the quality
you
of like the
cannot
amount
compare us to
of
Colony
buildings.
and Bethlehem.
Okay, let me talk.
I do want to, I'm going to lean in here a little bit. I just want to bring back everyone 5 years ago when, the city had every contract in the city expired. The mayor inherited a fund balance that was at zero. We were on the verge of receivership, and turning that ship around took a while. But we're seeing, we see the light at the end of the tunnel now, and I think our budget team, our administrative services team, and the administration has demonstrated in word and deed they're committed to raising these salaries, and that's what we're going to do.
And I just want to, I think we all recognize the fact that we are turning a corner. And we're hoping that when we're turning this corner, it'll help lift all of us. And these, and others, I mean, there's others in here that are struggling. And as someone that's never made out of 40,000 in a W-2, I know how hard it is to deal with, take care of a family, making these type of salaries. So it's when I see this, we're in a better place. So all I'm asking you, Mike, and I know you're one of the guys. You're in the room. Does it mean you have to come back to us? Maybe in the past we weren't willing to take the hit. If it means you have to come back to us to find ways to bring you more revenue, then that's what you need to do. And that made the difference that maybe you didn't have in the past.
That's one council member speaking, and I'm not saying I disagree with it, but I just need to,
I second that too. I second whatever Alfredo said. But seriously,
I think we have made our point, and I would like to move on because it is 7:15.
I want to point out is, on page 67, where you see the clerk typist 1, that new salary should be the 32,019 as well. That's something that we submitted to Michelle and Judy earlier. That will be an amendment that will make it. So that one did not, that was just an oversight, but that should be, that there should be an increase there for that position as well.
Thank you.
It's,
All right.
32,000.
On page 67 from it stayed flat. It should have the 1% across the board.
So in that position, they got what percent increase?
Yeah, 1%.
1%. Great.
All right. Next. There we go.
This is just a brief graph, and we're showing the difference between the revenue versus expenses. So 2020, 2019, 19 year to date, 2019 projected year, 18 adopted, 18 actuals. But what's important to see here is really the green is the revenue, the blue, the lighter blue is the expenditures. So every year, Department of Building and Regulatory Compliance is bringing in more money than it's expending.
Wait, say that again?
Bringing in more money than they're spending.
More to the case of why they need this increase in their salary. They're doing a phenomenal job.
All that money goes into the general fund.
All right.
It's not dedicated to the department, it goes to the general
The
fund.
point I'm trying to make is that
Yeah.
this department is doing a phenomenal job, and we need to make sure that they're being compensated the right way, fairly.
Well, I'm saying the revenue supports overall city operations. So the departments that don't generate
All right. Let's move on. Good point.
Thank you.
So this is just the overall expenditures. You can see this is 2019, so I don't think we're going to go too much on that. It's for the adopted year to date and then the actuals. So this is the revenues. So you can see that the adopted was 3.5. Year to date is 2.5. The projected year end is going to be about 3.4. So it's right in range with what the original year to date adoption.
Rental fees, can we just focus on this a little? Rental fees are down below what's anticipated, right?
ROPs, the ROPs.
ROPs. What's going on with our ROPs?
That's the ROP inspection.
That's
So
just,
that's not a 30-month cycle. So
correct, so that's just timing. We have a couple of the larger, like 400 Central, the towers, that are due to come in. It's all just timing because that 30 months.
Okay.
It was a 12-year cycle.
And are elevators and sprinklers actually yours, or is that fire department?
That question, for the ROPs, what's the compliance with that? Has that gotten better or is it still?
I don't know, I don't have the number. I mean, they're definitely more compliant, and I was able to come up with a way so before we submit out a letter that said, hey, your ROP is going to expire in 30 days. And if we heard from some, we dealt with them. If we didn't, that was it. Then we wouldn't know which ones didn't unless you manually went in there. It's very time consuming to know who didn't comply. So what I instituted this year is, and it's been really effective, I don't send a letter out anymore. It's a lot of money in postage to send a letter out when they should know when there's something done. So now what I do is we have a tickler system. So now when I get the note, when I know in 30 days it's going to be up, in 30 days we send out an automatic violation to that person saying your ROP is expired, comply. So what happens there is we get a lot more compliance because now they see the violation and it scares them. But it also enables us to send people to court much quicker than we ever had before. It could be a year that somebody did have an ROP. We might not know about it unless somehow it was brought to our attention.
So is the onus on them then to contact you to set up an appointment?
I know he was,
So if there was a point occurring that change, to notify people of their expiration and either you guys schedule an appointment in that letter, notification or not?
no, we can't schedule an appointment to do it until they pay for it. They have to register and pay for it, so. Now, instead of spending all the money, sending them something saying, hey, hopefully you'll comply, now it's, hey, comply, we're going to be in court.
We're talking about the,
Or-
right, we're talking about the inspections for their renewal.
I'll say on the other side, the nice thing now is when you do your inspection, you do get a letter saying that it's been approved and when the next one is due. So that's nice. And when,
Now, there are still properties that don't have ROPs. This is correct, and how are we forcing them to comply?
We put them into the system, with that violation, and if they don't comply, they get sent to prosecution. Now it's in the court county's hands and not ours. So if nothing else, they're in the court system much sooner than the ones that we just wouldn't know about. And then, they could be a year, it could be 2 years before we realize they haven't.
So when they get that notice of violation, is that a warning?
Yep. Yeah, it's just like any other violation. Hey, you're renting without an ROP, you have 35 days to apply, and it has a re-inspection date on it. If on that date it's not done, it moves, so it's much more efficient and streamlined.
And you've been doing this for how long?
About 6 months.
And so far it's working.
So it's working.
And in terms of the, you don't have to interact with this online, you have an internal list that's online.
That's correct.
How often is that updated?
I think it's every 2 weeks.
So that's fairly current. I mean, your best eyes of people who are like us and those folks in the New York who know what's going on. And can point out a lot of buildings that don't have ROPs or have more units than they should and all that kind of stuff. We don't have any information. We can't,
So you're saying that it's posted on here?
There is
Richard, can you send us that link?
It's on the city website.
Yeah, the
website.
The way I find it,
Like so.
I just go to the search engine on the city website, type in ROP,
Oh.
and then you'll find a couple of links and figure out which one is the right one.
Great.
Uh-huh.
But it's not, I don't think it's easily findable otherwise. That's when
But I think it's part of that larger portal that we're talking
Yeah.
about, so people can say, if somebody's renting, they'll be able to know whether they're.
There's a lot of not very friendly stuff on the website.
So,
Chris, this is as of what date? Your year-to-date numbers?
Yeah.
So it's probably about a month.
Because the report that we have from the 15th is showing over 400,000 for the plumbing permits, which is much higher than what you have there.
Plumbing?
Yeah.
so I noticed the vacant building registration numbers are a lot lower than what I expected.
Well, that's again, 160, year to date is 100.
That's project then, year to date is 56.
Yeah, but good, that's our projected, yeah, it's still going to be low.
It's still gonna be a lot lower. I guess my question is because we did, a couple of years ago, we did the update to try to get more people to actually register. Are more people actually registering? Like, is that budget number put in with the anticipation of people actually doing this?
No,
Or
there's not more compliance has to change. So preemptively, like I've been doing with the ROPs, I'll be doing that with the vacant buildings as well. So,
You're going to get a letter, or
Right,
we're going to get a
but-
violation rather than a letter saying.
We expanded the number of buildings that should be registered by changing the terms. And that's another issue where we no longer get or can tell whether a building is registered or not. And so it does have an impact on compliance because we can't, tell you, I don't want to call you
So
and
that,
find
if
an
we
email.
were able to get some sort of.
I wonder if there's a way that we encourage council members at least, I know you don't want to do public, but if there's a way, so we know what actually is vacant, registered and not registered, and that,
Yeah.
is that something that's doable?
yeah, I think generate something. I think it would be, we could generate something that would tell you who has registered as of a
Well,
particular date.
that would tell you
And then,
who
yeah,
hasn't.
maybe the elimination.
Yeah, yeah. Because that's what I think we'd be looking for
Well,
is,
and Dan has the list of, like, he's got that magic thing.
right, but I guess the issue is how do we access that information without having to ask every
Right,
time?
to just get it
Yeah.
regularly, yeah. I mean, it would be nice to do that, because it's been about a year, I'd like to walk around and check them
Right.
out, and also know what is registered and what's not registered, because when you get neighbors that are, there's some like persnickety neighbors, and they can be useful.
So again, that's part of, what we're talking about, creating this portal where it's really easy to access that kind of information. It's all sort of in one, sort of drop-down list. So it could be a building, it could be an RLP, it could be a building registry, it could be this.
Yeah.
And then you could search by property address, and then you know, okay, that one I have to worry. When you search and you don't see one, then you know.
Yeah, except for
Is there maybe-
me, for my board, I would have to search every single address. Like, that would be, like, if I just want to know what, that wouldn't necessarily be effective for what I think Ricky and I are talking about. Like, that would be effective if I'm walking along and I'm like, what is going on with that house? But it wouldn't be like, oh, what's going on with the thousands of houses? I don't know how many houses are in my ward, but all the houses in my ward.
But again, because it's all of that stuff will be contained within the overall shapefile of the GIS, with the ability to sort by ward as well.
Oh, so I'd be able to just,
So you might be able to do, you may be able to create something that's a simple query that says show me all
Oh,
big
that would be
buildings
lovely.
within my ward, or whatever.
Yeah.
And both on a map and, in this sort of spreadsheet.
well, until that day happens.
Are you hoping to get additional information as well? Like, is this, what kind of foreclosure? You say this is a foreclosure?
I don't think we're going to get that deep. It's really about, those are going to be things that are more on the back end, but we want to have the information as far as, is somebody compliant?
Mhm.
So that's easy.
I see.
So I don't think we're going to get so deep into, is the bank foreclosure, is, all those kinds of things. Each one of the expenditures, the proposal is $2.4 million. The 2018 document was 2.2, so a small increase there for the amount of work that this fund is doing. And again, offset by the increases in revenue. 2019 budget, this is 2020 proposed, so the projection is 3.6 for 2020. So an increase in the projected revenue for 2020.
Okay, that is a little different than what we have on page 68 in the budget. But Mike, did you perhaps make adjustments to some of these?
Some of these, and these were based on some initial work the PRC has done. Most of these I've adjusted based on what the actual budget is showing. I made a few numbers in the proposal.
So we have, for revenues on page 68, we have 3.387 million, as opposed to 3.666.
Okay?
Yeah, demolition should be 825.
We have 825 in our book for demolitions.
That should be what's on the,
Where,
side as well.
What's in your book?
Yeah, 825 should be the number
Which one?
for demolitions.
your number for ROPs is much higher than what's in the book. It looks like everything was affected. I'm thinking that your office must have done some adjustment.
I'll take this from Chris and take a look at it.
So again, some of these were based on earlier numbers, not all of those got trued up from the actual budget, so. I thought most of them, I guess, we got this one.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of them, they were being adjusted to more so reflect actuals from 2018. Certain amount. Anyway, we're going with what's in the budget book in terms of revenue. And
Well, the good thing is, I mean, if you do look at 2018 actual.
it's not a, you know, in the scheme of things, it's not a huge difference. It's a, you know, less than 10% reduction.
We'll hash it out.
All right.
It's the line items for different salary. Not any huge change. But again, some of the larger code enforcement, some of those, you can see in the larger. These are just some salary changes, recommending an increase in Rick's salary. Again, you know, if you look at him in comparison with other directors, he's got a lot more responsibility, really because of the 24 hours being on call. So between him and the deputy director's salary, they switch on and off. So he's on call for 24 hours for a week, and then the other person takes over.
And has Valerie been the office director, office supervisor that's becoming deputy director?
Yes, yeah.
All right. So she is going from 64 to 71.
And this is, you know, fair amount of workload, and it's, even with comp time, it's just, you know, I'm sure Rick has more comp time than we'll ever be able to use, because being on call for a lot of those demolitions, fire, and Valerie Scott, you want to talk a little bit about some of her duties and some of the things she's taken on?
This revenue
Taxation.
So she's taken on basically the entire role of the deputy after we eliminated the 2 deputy positions. And again, we share that 24-hour on-call every other week. Her institutional knowledge is, invaluable. So, there's no, she's definitely worth the increase.
So you eliminated 2 deputies last year?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. All right.
So these are the.
Does anybody have any questions about that before we move on? Okay.
You can see that these are constantly, these are not going through negotiations, so. And these are some front end, some slight modifications there. Very minor. New initiatives, again, the building inspection of the rooftops, this is the new building code inspection platform, it's going to be definitely planning department and we basically carry over into the court cases as well, so we'll look into that. Reducing the RFP inspections from 30 months to 18 months, 30 months is too long of a window.
So is that across the board or is that targeted?
It'll be across the board.
Okay. And when would that start?
We haven't solidified a start date yet because we want to work out a couple, we're trying to work out some actual, so the deal is, a lot of properties need to be inspected more than 3 months. There are certainly some that don't need it, so I want to be able to work out so, that there's a fair across the board. So I don't want to add a burden to somebody by now saying, well, now we're going to come back, or, I want to kind of see if we can do it, based on, and this is the thing we're working out with court counsel, to see what we can, if we say it's going to be 18 months across the board, is there a way to incentivize somebody not to have to, be paid that particular one? If you have, someone up in one area that has, a long-term tenant's been there 10, 15 years versus somebody who has a rotating door of probably 3 or 4 tenants in a 12-month span, and we constantly have, dumping resources into them for code violations and stuff. I'm just trying to find what's fair, way to do it. But the goal would be bring it down to 18 months rather than, just increasing the fee. I wasn't, necessarily interested in that. We just want to make sure people are safe in the buildings that they're in.
So that would have to go back to the council, the reduction in the inspections, because city code sets it at 30.
Correct.
Okay. And then the problematic properties, I don't know if that's something that you can do now, or is that, again, code?
For the revocation?
Yeah.
I'm already doing that.
Okay.
I've had to on a few, but now we're trying to make it a more, an actual process that, people are aware rather than just when I'm faced with, really no alternative. That's really the carrot I have to, wave over their head is your RFP is going. So now it would be something that's actually established in writing and stating what's next when that happens.
Airbnb regs.
Do you have certain standards now as far as when you would take, there's this many code violations in this period of time, so you lose your RLP? I'm just curious.
Correct, yeah, so I've had a couple of properties where we've had actually unsafe, unfit unit multiple times in a very short span. I've had one case where I've had 12 cases in the last 14 months. About 7 different rotating people in there. That's somebody that needs to, we need to know what's going on in there. It's not standalone, but that's the one that comes to mind. That, those are the folks that, we need to be able to, there needs to be repercussions for, bad landlords.
But just on the Airbnb, the Airbnb regs, is that something you have current authority for, or it would seem that those would be
Correct.
right now?
Correct. So that's where we're trying to put something up because they're much more frequent now than they were, a year ago, and just trying to be able to figure out, and without being a complete burden to somebody, but we do want to make sure people are safe and that the conditions that they're in are really set up for that kind of thing.
So do we currently have regulations that allow an Airbnb?
You don't have any regulations that prohibit it, I think.
Right, that's the better way to put it.
But if you wanted to Airbnb, you probably want to have an have any type of rental.
Right. Well, they're short
It
term.
would require an ROP if you're renting out, right?
They're like hotel units, or something like that, I'm not sure. But so right now, we don't.
Right, so if I get a complaint and someone says, I think somebody's running an Airbnb out there, every other day there's, a different person in there, we don't have anything that says they can't do that.
Right.
So it's just really trying to get a hold of how they're being used and, what we need to be, for oversight.
But you would first check to see whether or not they had an ROP.
Absolutely.
It would have to,
right.
But it's easy to find.
Will we
online.
need it?
It may also require, for, certain places, a change in tenant, or a change in use permit to be applied for. So if we know that house is a single-family homeowner occupied, and now there are, multiple people coming in and out of there, that's a change of what the use is, currently.
How is that
Yeah, it hasn't changed in use. It's still
Yeah,
a
well,
residential
I mean,
use.
again, if they were renting out, it's sort of like there's 3 different units within a single family house as Airbnb. If you're renting out your entire house as an Airbnb, I don't know, that, again, that would sort of continue as a single family.
Yeah.
But it could, if you start to get that signal that there's 3 Airbnbs going on in a single family house at the same time, it's not really being used.
We got one of those in my neighborhood.
Oh, I
Just trying to get a handle, because they are much more frequent.
Yeah, you don't want to.
Of how they're being used.
All right, anyway, I
I
have,
don't know.
anyway, let's.
No, that's a good question. All right,
Anyway, just revenue grant, same thing, city-wide records, they continue with the digitization of all the records. We confirmed that, we new code books, 2020 update. And then implementation of fee chart revision. So we're looking holistically over all the fees within the department. And one of them is bringing the new construction permit prices in line with those for renovations, because there's a complete sort of mismatch on those. So those are sort of larger grant opportunities. again, the reorganization has been a huge thing in terms of cost saving. Cost saving both between BRC and planning and development, looking at paperless options, making sure that people can submit. We're hoping to move at some point, we allow, all of our forms can be filled out online, but you still got to print them, sign them, and bring them in as paper. We'd like to have that option, that people can actually submit them electronically with electronic signature. One of the things we're looking at in BRC is going to a digital plan review, so you don't have these large review tables. You can review the plan sets on a large screen, do markups electronically, keep a record of the markups. They can go from the building inspector to the plumbing inspector, electrical inspector in a seamless manner. And then there's no need for the large road drawings other than what's required on the site. I mean, requiring a stamp set on any kind of building project. But other than that, I think that that's going to free up some space, free up some overall time and money in terms of trying to put all these things in.
Right now, that's all still on paper?
Yep.
Wow.
Because they're large plan sets, and looking at a little PDF on a small screen is not going to work using traditional PDF markup software. So we're looking at getting larger monitors for the building inspectors. Some of them might even be interactive where they can actually go on the screen, but generally using a product like Blue Beam Review, which allows all those markups to happen electronically in a PDF storage environment, but it's much more robust than typical Acrobat or Adobe.
I don't see any increases in any of the costs, equipment, et cetera, for accomplishing that. When's the plan? Are you doing design?
Branding or platforms and things like that, to see what we can pull out of that.
And in terms of actual implementation, you're probably looking at 18 months or something like that.
Yeah. The software might go for contracted services if it's a subscription base.
All right.
So again, I think, there's still a little bit of a state of turnover, but I think there's really a lot that has sort of stabilized to some degree. Really just based on the environment, the regulatory area over there. You can see the difference when you walk in, you see the difference, the sort of camaraderie between all the different people that work there. People seem to be wanting to be in that place, and I think they've seen all the changes that are happening, and they, still anticipating better things to come in terms of the salary line. So.
Collusion?
Collusion. At least it wasn't collusion.
Anyway.
So I'm ready for the ACDA. They're going to be here in February. They have a slightly different fiscal year. I think the only thing to really keep in mind on this is that their percentage, they are 100% fully funded. So, in fact, they do provide a lot of support to some of the other departments in terms of funding positions and things like that. So, I think Faye sent a memo, sort of a brief memo.
Right. Right. Yeah. And they have 1% raises across the board, nothing, no surprises.
They didn't change anything.
What?
They didn't really change anything in the context.
They didn't give a 1%?
I think just the 1%.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Everything else is pretty static.
Right, yeah, that's what I thought. All right. Any additional questions for Chris at this point? I think we have, an issue with regard to Mike checking out the revenue and justifying that.
Yeah.
And then Chris with regard to each one of those capital projects, providing us, there are things like the connector trail. If you could put that in context, and maybe a couple of the other ones, where we have spent some money already, if you could sort of refresh our recollection so that we see the big picture on it. All right. Anything else, folks? Do I have a motion to adjourn? Thank you.
Let's all put the room back together.
We are adjourned. Thank you very much.
What'd you say? Still not ready to move stuff yet.
Let's help and put the room back together.
Room back together.
Room back together.
before we take you out of here? Everything's a mess. Everything.